Alright everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. Here, as you can see, I'm a little bit glowier than usual, and I'm not hollow anymore. I've been summoned to somebody else's world, because I'm going to help them fight off the Bell Gargoyles. Like I said I would a little earlier, I'm going to try and help other people out with these bosses, just in case there's a different sort of multi-person strategy. In this case, I'm not sure that's really the case, but you know what, I went ahead and recorded it, so you guys are going to watch it. This guy, he's really taking his time going through the white light. I'm not really sure why. But there we go. Area boss can now be challenged, and there is no... As soon as we walk through here, there is no boss damage meter visible, so you can see this is his first time fighting the Bell Gargoyles, because they haven't shown up yet. He runs forward, and I'm just skipping a cutscene there because you guys have already seen it. So yeah, when you've got multiple people here, this fight becomes a lot easier because you can waste the first gargoyle in a really short amount of time. I'm just sort of standing back and firing off soul arrows, and there we go. Guy's dead already before the second Bell Gargoyle can even do anything. So if you're only fighting one Bell Gargoyle at a time, it definitely becomes much easier. So that's why. I hope my soul arrow goes off nowhere because I didn't realize the Bell Gargoyle was already dead. So, victory achieved. My reward for victory is 1 humanity and 5,000 souls. Alright, so we're done with that. Now we go back to our actual game. I've just run the Bell of Awakening here, and we're going to be heading back down. Climb down is always more fun than the climb up, because you can just slide your way down the ladders, which I always enjoy doing, maybe a bit more than I should. I don't know, everyone seems to like sliding down ladders. Here's a ladder. Let's go. Whee! Alright, so we're back on the roof of the cathedral, and this guy has shown up. Who is he?
Greetings. I am Oswald of Karim, the Pardoner. Thou appearest to lack faith. Yet magnanimous are the gods. Cometh thou to confess, or to accuse? For indeed all sin is my domain.
This guy shows up right after you defeat the Bell Gargoyles for the first time. He sells some purging stones to decurse you, indictments, which you can use to report any invaders that might invade, like the person who got to me in episode 2. Also, this Velka's Talisman, which lets you cast miracles, which are different from sorceries, but they scale based on your intelligence instead of your faith, which is what they usually scale based on. He also sells something called the Book of the Guilty, which shows everybody who sinned and how severely they've sinned. You can check and see if you're on it. Also a few rings here. You can also, if you join a covenant, I'll be joining a covenant later, you can abandon it here. You can request absolution if you accidentally damage anybody, and you learn this sweet gesture, which I'll show you in just a second.
Thou art welcome any time. It is only human to commit a sin.
It's hard for me to get a read on that guy. Like, is he evil? Is he, you know, just weird? Well, he's definitely weird, but, you know, I can't really parse his personality. Anyway, let's put on some different gestures, and well, what is it? Come at me, bro. That's one of the best gestures in the game. Like, as soon as, if you kill somebody, and then you do that gesture, it's just letting the world know that you are a huge dick. It's great. So, running back across the roof, we're going to head from here back down to Firelink Shrine, because there are a few things that we want to get taken care of. You'll remember that earlier we picked up a Firekeeper soul here in the parish, and we can go ahead and use that. Firelink Shrine is also a good place to go to because, you know what, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but I just have to fill a bit of time because my character is going to be running back down through the church here. Anyway, Sorcerer is, I find it's particularly useful during summon battles because The problem with the heavy soul arrow right now is that it takes so long to cast, but if you have a boss that's paying attention to somebody else at the time, then, you know, you can take however long you want to cast. So that's always handy. Anyway, here, people are pointing out these shortcuts, and we have this elevator right here, which is going to take us immediately back down to Firelink Shrine. Of course, if we jump off a little bit before we get to the bottom, we can get access to this particular ledge and that long spirally structure, and that will take us back to somewhere familiar, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that until the next video, where I will return to the Undead Asylum. Anyway, we're back in Firelink Shrine, and we're going to have a quick conversation with this guy who was ignoring us earlier. What's he got to say now?
Oh my, you again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you? Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
And here, we have just joined the Way of White, our very first covenant. I'll explain more about what this covenant does in just a second, but first, more from this guy.
Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
So, we can now talk to him and purchase things. He sells us some miracles, some heal stuff, the Great Heal excerpt, like I pointed out before, some talismans, and he teaches us this neato gesture, I suppose.
My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm. Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
The Way of White does, it's not... I don't think it's something that you can level up in. It basically... It's like baby's first covenant. It lets you join up with other people more easily in co-op. Well, especially people who are warriors of sunlight or members of the Princess's Guard. Anyway, let's put some stats into our whatsits. Putting up vitality, endurance, intelligence, and dexterity. We now have the proper stats, I believe, to wield a Quelog's Fury Sword later in the game. Because... I don't know, it's a pretty sweet sword to have. It scales up mostly with dexterity, which we won't be leveling up that much, so I don't know if it's going to be too useful to us later in the game, but for now I think we're going to do just fine.
Why, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to make it. Oh, somebody rang the bell. Wait, was it you? You never give up, do you? I don't know how you do it. Well, don't stop now. Only one more. But it's going to be suicide.
This guy clearly does not believe. He will soon see the error of his ways. Oh, hey. Here's our good old buddy Lautrec. What's it? Try kicking. Yeah, if you want to, you can kick him off the edge right here. It's easy kill. But no, he's nice.
Ah, hello there. I have your reward. Please, accept it. I am grateful to you for freeing me. Not enough for you? Well, let's not be greedy now.
That is a lot of laughs, I just noticed. That's like a long string of laughs for just the 4 hes that are supposed to be there. Or 3 hes and a ke. Anyhow, we've reinforced our Estus Flask. It's now an Estus Flask +2, so that'll be helpful. And so, right there I did some talking to the merchant and then ran my way back to Andre of Astora, but all of that was particularly boring, so I skipped it. Instead, check out this bridge here that leads to Sen's Fortress. Still closed for now, but we're on our way to fixing that, I certainly hope. But there's another character who's just moved in who we can talk to here.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall. Or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak.
That of the jolliest characters in the game, Siegmeyer of Katarina, also known as Onion Bro, for the distinctive onion armor he's wearing and the fat suit. I don't know if he's actually fat underneath. I'm sure somebody was able to peek and see that through some camera bewitchery. But anyhow, we'll be helping him a few times throughout the game because, you know, when you have that much armor on, there's really not much you can do. For now, let's talk to Andre.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
So what am I doing here? There's nothing I can really reinforce. Well, nothing I want to reinforce. I'd like to reinforce my longsword, but I don't have enough Titanite shards, and I don't want to buy another one. So I'll just get the weaponsmith box.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
No, maybe next time I am going to just buy a Titanite shard from him and upgrade my longsword a little bit more. It will probably save me from having to break down a Titanite chunk later, which, you know, I don't really mind doing because later on you get Titanite chunks in just spades, but it's time wasted, and I don't really want to do that, so instead I can just pay up the 500 souls, get a Titanite shard. Anyhow, here we are in the region beyond the Prowling Demon that we killed quite a while ago. Yeah, in my other games where I'm a warrior, I still haven't killed that guy at this point, but, you know, being a sorcerer, that's one of the perks. So, here we are in the... Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. How long is it gonna... There we go. We're in the Darkroot Garden. Normally I just run straight through this section to the end boss, but this time I'm going to do a little bit of exploring and see what actually lies within the garden, and I am going to regret it, as you'll see. That path there that I was just standing next to, that leads to another Darkroot area, the Darkroot Basin, and that is a fairly dangerous area that I don't want to go and tackle right now, because, you know, it's right next to the Darkroot Garden, but the enemies are all a lot tougher. And, you know, that's something that I can do later in the game, like, way later, after I go through Anorlanda. And I miss with this guy because the aim on the soul arrows is kind of bizarre. Oh, and none of these bushmen are dropping anything, which is kind of weird. Usually they're dropping moss clumps left and right. It's kind of considering that I have 7 humanity on hand. Usually I'm getting all sorts of this stuff. But I haven't picked up a single moss clump yet, which is disappointing. It's not that I use the red or the blooming ones all that much, but once we get to Blighttown, I'm definitely going to want to have a purple moss clump on hand. Oh, and I picked up some souls, and I just realized I haven't been using my soul items, so maybe I could have leveled up a couple more times. Maybe not, though. How much am I at here? We'll see once I get to the bonfire. You may have noticed me looking behind me every once in a little while before. That was just me looking for that one soul of the Nameless Soldier from before. Wasn't quite sure where it was, and I never managed to find it before my return trip. So I was just trying to cover my bases here. Try attacking. Oh, and here is the hidden bonfire. This would be a serious pain if I did not have a bonfire right here. And as you will see, it is going to save me in a couple of minutes. I'll try to level up here, I think. And nope, I guess I cannot level up at this point. So instead, I'm just going to wander right past the very conspicuous looking door, which I can't open, and instead go down this lesser known side area. What have we here? There's a fog door, and over here there's an item in a room. And people who have played the game enough will know that this is a trap. As soon as I pick it up, there's going to be a bunch of bushmen coming after me. And that in itself isn't a big problem, because I can just run off and soul arrow them a bunch, but then they reappear every single time I return to the bonfire, and that is not company that I need to have every time I'm running back and forth. even though I don't really intend to visit this area another time, you know, maybe I should just fully explore this particular room. Anyhow, here's a secret area guarded by this secret tree, and this is a semi-secret double snake creature thingy, which I am fighting with extraordinarily bad form, and things, oh boy, things just got worse. Not only was I poisoned, but this bushman is eating me now. And, yep, down I go. That was really embarrassing. I did not anticipate dying this early in the Darkroot Garden, but as it turns out, I'm just terrible. Who knew? So let's try this again. Here's my bloodstain. This time I was packing a soul arrow because now I know that the bushman is going to eventually come and try and kill me from behind, and I do not need to have enemies on both sides of me. That is just no. Oh hey, somebody finally dropped a moss clump, a blood red one, which I believe lowers your bleed level? I don't know offhand. Oh, and wow, I'm poisoned already. On the plus side, I think I eventually learn how to target this guy. Let's see, yes, I do. I know how to target now. I am not the most terrible player in the world. So I pick up my lost power, and what did I pick up? It was a partisan, which is a kind of spear. I don't know if I'm ever going to be using it. Anyhow, I just ran back to the bonfire and healed myself and came back. And so if you take a right instead of a left coming through this area, you will find this tree. And it looks like part of the scenery initially, but you'll notice it moving if you're really observant, way more observant than me. And if you stab it enough, it will eventually disappear in a white haze thingy that all these enemies do. How long is it going to take? This guy has a whole lot of HP. Or maybe it's just the fact that I'm so weak with my sword, but this is taking a while. There we go. Finally, he's down. Unfortunately for us, he does not come back. And more fortunately, he gives us a few souls. So this is an area that I have never explored before. I saw Epic Name Bro exploring it in his video, and so I figured that I would do this area for the first time on video, which is, of course, a fantastic idea. Seeing this weird little creature, which is like a blood red camouflage manta ray. I don't know really what that... Whoa, jeez, where'd he go? I think he disappeared beneath the floor. Weird. But yeah, I've been through like 3 playthroughs of this game now. Well, this is my 3rd playthrough, I guess, and... Well, actually, no, this is my 5th time in total through the Darkroot Garden, and I have never found this area before. So, take another minute or so, kill this enormous tree. I'm gonna try dual-handing my sword, maybe that'll work a little better. Ah, this is taking forever. Anybody know any good jokes? Waiting. There we go, finally we're done. And so now we're in this next room with the Darkroot Garden. Another place that I still have never been to. So there's this stone structure here. I don't know exactly what it's for. And along this, I thought that might be illusory wall there, but nope. Turns out I'm just supposed to go towards this really conspicuous stone broken structure over here. Here's a message. Be wary of statue. Yeah, there are really annoying giant stone statue enemies in this area. Some soul arrows will take them out without too much trouble, but if you are a melee character, these guys can pose a serious problem because of a particular ability that they have. Also, it takes forever before you can lock onto them, which is a pain. Yep, I'm using some soul arrows there, and I quickly realized that they don't work that well, so switch to a heavy soul arrow. And, of course, I fire a second one off because I'm not paying attention. Anyhow, up here is a somewhat useful item. It's a ring, the wolf ring. Yep, the wolf ring. And let's take a quick look at that particular ring. What does that do? Wolf ring. It will increase your poise. Boost your poise, so you are less able to be knocked off your guard. I've heard worse reasons to put rings on. So, let us go ahead and go back. And oh, wow. Okay, so let's try going the other way. And let's just go forward, and yeah, much too late, I notice the gap in the floor. So, okay, let's try this again. We're 2 deaths in already, and we're in the Darkroot Garden, and this is why I try to stick to a certain path when I'm playing, because if I go off and explore on my own, I usually die at least once. Because, I don't even know. I think after playing this game a certain number of times, you sort of get overconfident. That's why a lot of people, they say that, you know, once they've all beaten Dark Souls, and they say, oh, the game's really not that hard. And to that, I say, shut the hell up. Oh, hello. This is something I was not expecting. A whole bunch of blood red manta rays have come at me. Fortunately, without having to melee them, it's not... Oh, tree, thanks. It's not a big problem. 2 soul arrows from a distance will take out each one of them. And I've got plenty of those to spare. When I was first playing a Sorcerer, I was sort of nervous that my spells were so limited, but you can see that the soul arrows really go a long way, so it's really not too much of a problem. Anyhow, what was I saying? People who beat Dark Souls a few times, they say that Dark Souls really isn't that hard, and I have no idea why they would say that. I mean, like, sure, if you know all of the strategies and you know what you're going up against, and you know how to do things like really intricate dodge rolls, or not intricate dodge rolls, but really well-timed dodge rolls with their invincibility frames, and you know what weapons to use against what enemies, and you know what's coming, so you start moving a bit more slowly, a bit more defensively, then, yeah, sure, it's easy, but, you know, that's what I call difficulty, so, yeah, bite me, basically. This is still absolutely a hard game, no matter how you slice it, and if somebody tries to tell you it's not that hard, they're just showing off. That is my official stance. That Dark Souls is hard. Anyone who says otherwise is a liar. No, they're not lying. They're just, their experiences have been tainted. Their memories have been warped, and it's sort of a rose-tinted glasses kind of thing. Basically. I mean, like, even now, like, I can usually win the it's not hard argument by just bringing up Ornstein and Smo, and that usually goes over well enough. I mean, like, seriously, no matter, Ornstein and Smo will always be hard forever if you're trying to do them solo. I don't care what you say otherwise, how good of a time you had. Oh boy, now I'm really rambling. But this is just a subject that sort of annoys me when people try and say that this game isn't hard. And this isn't just me being, like, a terrible gamer or anything. I mean, we've all seen how terrible I am at the game anyway. But, no, it's just an out-and-out hard game. People are not calling it one of the hardest games ever for nothing. It's not that we're all a generation of terrible gamers. It's like once you've raised yourself to be good at the game, then it gets much easier. But it's still hard, as I'm proving right now, because I'm just terrible. Anyhow, sorry, I'm done ranting about that. Ooh, we get a blooming purple moss clump. Those are hard to come by. And so basically the moss clumps, blood red, I believe, cures bleeding. Purple ones cure poison, and the blooming purple ones cure toxic, which is basically just a more fatal poison. And when you get toxic, it's a serious pain in the butt because your health will start draining quite rapidly. Oh hey, I've got some souls. I'm going to spend them on intelligence. The same thing I always spend them on. But hey, it works. So anyway, that was all of the exploring that I was planning to do in the Darkroot Garden. At least for now. I'm not going to go through that door yet because there's no real need to, and it's sort of a tougher area. There's a whole bunch of NPCs, like human-like NPCs, that will chase after you and try to ruin your day. So I try not to deal with that until a bit later in the game when I'm stronger. I could explore this particular region a bit more, but there's just like a billion stone giants around here and some bushmen, and the last thing I want to do is incite their wrath right now. So I'm just going to leave that for another day if I go back to it at all. I don't even know what's around here, really. There's a couple of items that I could probably pick up. I don't know if it's really worth my time. I seem to have gotten along fine without it. Here we have a stone giant. Stands up super slowly. One heavy soul arrow. Oh, hey, I dodged it. Awesome. And... oh, I don't know why that didn't work. I don't know, did I switch to regular soul arrows at one point? I'm not even paying attention anymore. Okay, but whatever, he's dead. And I get a stone great shield from him. I'm sure that will come in handy at some point, absolutely. It's not like I'm running a low strength build here or anything. Well, I suppose strength, it's more your endurance that determines your equipment load, but I've always been somebody who likes to travel light. I like to do the long rolls, though against this next boss, it is a bit beneficial to have a longer roll as opposed to a faster, more distance covering roll. Well, whatever, I'll explain it once we get in there. So, the Moonlight Butterfly. This boss, the first time I fought him, it just wrecked me over and over and over, and my friend was laughing at me, and I don't even know if she had the game at this point. I was sort of streaming it because everyone remembers the sort of Amazon, the SKU fiasco. Basically what happened was that, you know, there was a collector's edition and a regular edition of the game, and somehow they ended up with the exact same SKU, the exact same barcode. And that is going to be a problem for a number of reasons, but the main one is that computer systems, online stores, they store almost every single item by their individual SKU, their individual barcodes. And so if you have two items that have the exact same barcode, most computer systems are not designed in a way that will distinguish between the two items. It'll sort of think of it as just the one. And so that's sort of what happens, is that some people, they were trying to order the collector's edition, some the regular edition, but clearly their orders were linked to an SKU instead of an actual useful description of the game. So then they had big delays in determining what people had ordered, and I'm sure some people got shafted and got a regular edition when they wanted a different one. Anyway, I've talked through almost this entire fight. Moonlight Butterfly just did an attack that I almost never see happen to me, is that overhead attack. But most of these other attacks, the laser one and the slow-moving attack, yeah, right there, those are much easier to get away from if you're in the middle of a dodge roll, and so if you make your dodge roll last longer, then you're going to have a better time against this particular boss. And there we go. I talked through that entire boss just about nothing but SKUs and computer systems and whatever. But there we go. The Moonlight Butterfly is down, and as you can see, when you are a sorcerer, you can take it out in a much faster way, just because you can fire soul arrows at it whenever you want and not only attack when it lands, which has always been useful. So, what on earth was this thing guarding exactly? Climbing up this here tower, we find a message. Try pyromancy. Okay. I don't know what pyromancy will do up here. Anyhow, we have a crouching stone blacksmith table, some blacksmith tools. Looks like a stone Andre of some sort. But whatever. Let's grave rob. We get the watchtower basement key, a divine ember, and a homeward bone. We get our very first ember. That is going to be handy to us maybe later on. I don't know. Anyhow, next time I'm going to drop off that thing and explore the undead asylum again. See you guys later.